Today we're talking about what happens when years of industry experience meet a problem that you can't ignore. Ruth De Leo is the CEO and co-founder of DCYPHER Beauty, a beauty tech business that has now created more than 90,000 individual complexion matches. We're getting into leaving a successful career, building groundbreaking technology, and what it really takes to disrupt an industry that you already know inside out. So let's find out why she's a lady who launched.
Ignition sequence 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
Welcome to Ladies Who Launch.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so pleased that you're here. I'm so excited about DCYPHER and the world that you've created. It's so interesting. But before we get all the way there, I like to start by going all the way back because that's what we do here. And you've spent around 15 years working in beauty, 20 years in retail, and you've worked with some of the biggest names, right, in that space, LVMH, Charlotte Tilbury, Bioma, and then you decide to build something completely different for yourself, which is always the kind of, there's always that light bulb that goes off for a founder where they go, hang on a minute, I've done this now. I want to do something for me. So what was happening in your life at that time when you started to think, I want to build something of my own?
So I guess I always knew that I would love to have my own brand, a fantasy world of, for that kind of first decade, I suppose, but never really had the idea or the thought or the consideration and concept of what is it? I knew that loads of people could launch a brand, but I wasn't famous, I wasn't someone that would be, credible at that point. And I guess it was just a fortuitous moment when I met my co-founder, so myself and Adam. So to be fair, he is the genius. So I can sit here and say I am, but realistically, he is the tech genius behind this. And I guess for me, I'd spent years in the beauty industry, like you say, loved it, loved everything about it, learned so much. But for me, there was lots of pain points that I saw. So, as I moved my way through from retail to like chief commercial officers and, second in command in most of these bigger businesses, I saw a real commercial opportunity or a commercial challenge where everyone was bootstrapped by having to invest in MOQs and, kind of get restricted by what they could do creatively because the kind of engine behind was too expensive. And then really kind of got disappointed with beauty waste. So that was where it all started for me. I saw how much money I was writing off every year within the industry, within one brand, millions of pounds worth of product that were never kind of on your face, would never touch a consumer.
Wow, yeah.
But because you have to cater and the world became this kind of inclusivity breed, I suppose, everyone was talking about it. But for me, it was much more of a marketing tool. Like, we do 50 shades, we do 60 shades, we do 70 shades.
Yeah.
But reality is, commercially, that engine doesn't back that up if you're not selling it in the volume, etc., not able to do it in what you need. And so therefore that would become waste. And ultimately for me, that was pretty painful. And on the other side, I saw customers who still weren't getting what they needed from those 50, 60, 70 shades. They were still having to mix 2 or 3
Still buying
shades.
2. That's the story of my life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got you some foundation now. We've got you some drops,
very
so you can
excited.
get there.
You're very generous.
But I think
you.
obviously for me, that was it. I saw this huge problem that people actually weren't getting what they needed, even though brands were spending and wasting and, really trying to stretch themselves and failing, at being able to cater for the customer. And so for me, that was when I thought, actually, Adam has this technology aspect where we can be really precise, we can really personalize everything. How do we make it a brand? How do we do something together? And that's kind of where it born out of. So it was really fortuitous. It was really serendipitous to meet him. So I can't sit here and say I was pushing.
It's a big part of your story.
100%.
Of course. And we'll unpack what it is you do and how you do that in just a moment, because it's so blooming incredible. It's honestly, it's brilliant. We talk about you being in the beauty space for a number of years, for 15 years and in retail. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were actually doing in that space and how that time looked?
Yeah. So I literally went from, so I was a singer. So originally I was a cruise ship singer.
No way.
I don't really push that out too much, but we could maybe do a duet one day.
Yes, okay. What's your song of choice? Tell me.
A bit of Mariah, a bit of Whitney, a belter. I'm a belter.
Okay, I'm expecting big things now.
I am, yeah. Well, might be disappointed, but I believe in myself. That's the thing. That's the main thing. I have fun. But I think, I started off as kind of like this entertainment kind of world, if you like, but loved makeup. So obviously through entertainment, you get it. I don't know how you discovered makeup, but I definitely didn't discover makeup. There's lots of lovely stories about people with watching their mum put lipstick on, my parents and my grandparents not really into makeup.
I'm the same as you, you know. I really think it become about working with makeup artists and having it like in that performance space and
and like how they would say, you know, do this, wear this, and I was amazed how they could make my eyes look even bluer or all these kind of things. And I think for me it was like, I know I need to find something that I really love, because I was enjoying what I was doing, but it was never forever and it wasn't really a career.
Right.
And, you know, all of those kind of moments, I enjoyed it. And then Benefit, I saw this role advertised with Benefit. It's as simple as that. I saw it on, wasn't LinkedIn, whatever it was in them days. And I applied for it. The head of retail went for it, got it, couldn't believe it. They took a massive gamble on me because I didn't have that kind of experience. I'd worked in sales and, you know, on the ship, I used to do cruise sales, director stuff and things like that. So I was good at the gift of the gab kind of thing to get people talking. But got this opportunity, and I really owe it a lot to, you know, those first kind of years.
And I suppose, like you say, they really bought into you as a person, which must sort of instantly give you a real level of confidence. Like you say, that's not your background. You've not done anything like this before.
Yeah.
Like that's...
I think actually, now you're saying it, I probably didn't at that point. I think I definitely had massive imposter syndrome, you know, like, what am I doing it for the first 6 months? I was like, why did they give me this job? How does it work? Like, I'm getting free makeup thrown at me. It's all, you know, hula bronzer and whatever. This is amazing.
All the benefits in the world.
Like, what is this? And, you know, you get a car and all this, and it's just amazing. Like this, so they really, but that was their secret sauce. And I still say to this day, you know, obviously they've got different scenarios now and challenges versus where they're at. But when I joined them, they were number one in the UK.
Wow.
So they were doing over 250 million a year in UK retail. And I was obviously looking after the retail teams and driving those force and trying to get it. We launched brows. You know, brows weren't a thing for Benefit then.
Yeah.
We launched this 42 SKU range of brows, and everyone thought we were mad in the beauty industry, and then it just went crazy.
Still
and
my
the rest
brow
is history.
product.
Yeah, give me
silver,
brow,
the silver,
or the Precisely My Brow. Yeah, I mean, there's some great product. There's so many great products on the market, but I still use them today. I still use Tilbury. I think every brand that I have been a part of, I still use genuinely.
And then when you moved to other brands such as Tilbury, Biomer, etc., were you in that same space, in that same role, or had that kind of evolved over time?
Moved a bit. So Benefit was definitely more retail focused, sales, field teams. You know, how do you drive business? How do you drive those commercials? You know, so what we guys are really wanting now, how do you sell the product in store with or without people? But then with Tilbury, I learned more. Tilbury was amazing. I mean, everywhere that I've been really blessed. I feel like I can't say anything detrimental or bad about anyone that I've worked with or for. I've learned so much from every single aspect. But I think with Tilbury, she trusted me. I definitely came into my own in Tilbury. I think in Benefit, I was nervous, a bit of a rabbit in the headlights. Like,
it's your first sort of bite of the cherry, right?
Yeah.
This is your first
what am I doing?
go.
How am I doing it? And I remember this one time, we won the number one, you know, in Boots, you know, it was a massive deal, you know, obviously being the number one. And I thought, oh my God, I did do this. And, you know, then I started to kind of like believe in it and the team and how we're driving them. But at Tilbury, Charlotte and Demetra really trusted me to do what I thought was right. So when I joined Tilbury, it was very early stage. But when I joined Tilbury, they were successful, don't get me wrong, but the growth was pretty slow.
Right.
You know, it was that real point of, is this going to be something or is it going to stay in this league?
Yes.
And I think realistically, I brought a bit of benefitism to Tilbury. So Tilbury was very like stoic and very kind of like, I remember reading like all of the surveys and the customer surveys, and people felt like they were excluded, you know, so there was disappointment from people going into Selfridges to the counter. They felt like we weren't embracing them. You know, it was like, you know, we are up here and we don't deal with you. You know, it was very like painful to read when I joined, and, you know, obviously on that sales side. And so for the first 6 months, I was really adamant to get the right people in the right jobs. There's so many great people, but they weren't doing the right jobs. They weren't really working as a great mechanism to get the business where it needed to be. And so, I think we brought a bit of humanism and laugh and fun and joy. That Benefit was in abundance. We brought that to Tilbury, but still kept trying to make it very, you know, obviously makeup artistry focused, a bit very different
and
to Benefit.
still really premium, but I know what you mean, and have that sort of
just engage
that human
with you.
personality a little
like if you
bit.
think Benefit, it was all very, you know, I mean, the names of the products and all of that speak for itself. So they're
fun.
Quite, you know, childish-ish now, you know,
playful,
to a degree, playful. That's a better word for it. They'll kill me for saying childish. But yes, I think, you know, playful in that respect. But I think with Tilbury, it was very adult. It was very grown up, but it was also
quite serious.
It seemed complicated and serious. So I think then I started to hire lots of people in the field, you know, develop like the pro team, where the pro team were actually engaging and really fun and add a bit of joy. And, you know, we built, the things that I did, honestly, admit, I feel so incredibly proud of everyone of that brand, of what we did, because obviously it's Charlotte and she's
incredible.
iconic.
But it was definitely expert-led, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you look at sort of the way that the dialogues changed from, I remember when it was first launched, and it was, you know, because I think it was one of the first, I suppose, to really be focused around the makeup artist, which felt really
yes-ish. I mean,
as mainstream as it was.
As mainstream as it was. I guess obviously there's brands. I think what made the difference for me, I just remember going from Benefit to Tilbury, and everyone in my family and my friends going, "What on earth? Who is that? What are you on about? Like, who is Charlotte Tilbury? Benefit are amazing. You know what you're doing." I think you just believed in that person, and she was this expert in her field, and she's just charismatic, engaging, and it's like loads of people are Marmite, right? You either love them or you hate them, and I just love her. I loved her from day one. I think in how she is, and that reflected in our relationship, you know. And I think she then trusted me to go and I moved to the Middle East for her to launch the Middle East of Tilbury and stuff for like 18 months, 2 years.
Incredible.
So I got all these opportunities. But yeah, I think she was the first in that space that really owned it. You know, I think there was moments where Mac had worked with an MUA and,
of
you
course,
know, different
and then you've got
brands.
the likes of Bobbi Brown, etc.
Yeah. But she was a real...
It was a different approach, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For that time, it was a real different approach. Do you think, like you say, one of the sort of key takeaways, I suppose, as you've just said, from that moment in your life and in your career is the trust that Charlotte and the team had for you? Has that sort of really had an impact on the way that you lead as a founder or co-founder?
I would love to say, in honesty, that it did. I think it does now, 2 years into where we're at. I think in the beginning, no. If I would be lying, really, if I said, I think it would be unfair of me to say that I just let everyone come in and do what they thought and trust them. I think Charlotte really did. I think what I would say is that they did just let me go with it. I felt like it was my own business to a degree back then. You know, I was doing what we needed and we had loads of team. But I think for me, it took me a while. I think I'm in a good spot now over the last year where I've kind of let the experts come in, because I don't know it all. I really don't. So I know what I can do and I know what I can't do.
But you've got a hell of a lot of experience, so it's hard to be a little bit more...
It's hard to step back, though.
Like,
it is hard.
Off. Yeah.
Like, even, I mean, you know, there's things that I don't like doing, like speak to me about financial and sheets and okay, I get it, I understand it, I've got that commercial background, but it's not my playtime, it's not my enjoyable time.
Me too.
You know, I'll do it, but it's a learned behavior where everything else feels quite natural and instinctive to me, you know. So when I'm looking at a launch campaign and how can we make this like the best thing ever, or the formulas, you know, how do we actually make this so that the customer really is getting what they're telling us they want, and like all those insights, that's what kind of gets me out of bed and floats my boat and makes me excited. But I think it is hard because I saw everything. I think as a general manager, because with Tilbury as a general manager, I had to take all of those things and learn also on the job of that, you know. And social media wasn't what it is now then, you know, 10 years ago. So it was a very different space to a degree, but so I had to learn a lot of that, PR, things like that. I didn't know the basics. I mean, the basics of those kind of things. But I learned then obviously through, and wherever I've gone, a founder, I work for, I don't know whether you ever heard of a brand called Oma Beauty, which was founded by Sharon Tutor, who's sadly no longer with us. But she was a real pioneer for inclusivity. So she was a POC brand, realistically. It was really about driving that momentum, you know, 5-6 years ago. And it worked with her for a while. She was at Benefit. She used to be the GM of Australia Benefit, and worked with her. And she was really, you know, pioneering for something and really trying to change something. And I learned so much of the back end of stuff from her as well, because she had that expertise. So I was front and she was back. And it kind of, I learned from her being her number 2 in command. I understood also a little bit more about production, operations, or the manufacturing side, the distribution side, that I really didn't get much to do with in Tilbury either. You know, it was, when I was in the Middle East, it was a franchise. So you're working with Alshire, working with Shaloub, and you're working with these big guys who just do it all for you. The stuff in the factory over there, but it's all good. But I kind of learned that's, I think, everywhere I've managed to pick up. That's what I say. I feel very blessed. It's not
been such a sponge.
I've just really tried to, and now what I try to do is listen to my team. So I think the biggest thing for me is not, even if I know the answer, or I can be sitting in a meeting and I'm going,
so frustrated.
But I just let you get there, you know. So I have to let them, at the end of the day, I'm hiring these people. I'm, you know, paying money out of my business to let it grow and to drive it. So I have to let them at some point. And 9 times out of 10, they get it right.
Yes.
Yeah, so, which is great.
And then that makes you a proud mama.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about the moment that you met Adam, your co-founder.
It was funny. So it was basically an investor. So our current investors kind of connected us, which is interesting,
Okay.
right? So my one of my investors now is the Aurea Group, who they own the Body Shop, and so they're like a big investor. And Adam had been working with them behind the scenes for years, actually, on technology. So realistically, DCYPHER, as it is now, was never meant to be a brand. So DCYPHER, Adam basically started Trigenics, which is the parent company. And it was all about tech. It was meant to be a B2B solution. So it was about bringing the technology to retailers or to brands. And we would be selling you the equipment to make your skincare brand.
Okay.
That's kind of what we were doing. So we would be selling you the machinery and the tech so that you could produce your products in a cost-efficient way for you, or you could do what you need without having to go to contract manufacturing.
Got it.
Without having to invest in big MOQs and all those kind of things. So that was how it worked, really. And that's what he'd done. So the investors obviously believed in him and believed in the technology, and he'd gone through various iterations. I haven't got any pictures of them. Actually, quite funny to show you what the machines looked like then versus what they are now. You know, like when you think about, like, one just looked like a plastic Nespresso machine versus what it looks like now, you know, super high tech with the investment that we've got, etc. But yeah, the investor introduced us. And then we just got on. We got on really well. We started chatting.
So
talking.
At this point, you got connected via the investor because you knew that you wanted to start something of your own.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
And it was
so
like
I knew
finding
that I
the
wanted
right
to do
partner.
something. How could you find the right partner? So I'd really thought about it myself, like, how could I do it? And really, I'd been blessed to work for all these people and these are the brands that were top notch.
Yeah.
So then, in your own mind, do you think, but they're killing it? How do I be? I'm not going to go against Charlotte Tilbury. Like, how?
Yeah.
You know, how do I do that? And you know, Bioma and the Skincare was killing it. You know, we were killing it from that. And I think it was all these kind of things. But I kind of met him, and then I thought, oh my God, all the problems that I'd seen. It just felt very fortuitous. It still does today.
It was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. I think it was just one of those moments. And then we met, and I'm like, blah, 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 as you can see. And he's like, inside.
It's like yin and yang.
Like the yin and yang. Definitely the yin and
yang.
Like, I'm like, we need it now. And he's like, hey, next month. It'll
so you
be
take
fine.
a little bit of each other, which is quite nice.
So it's a little bit like, so it's a bit like that. But we do work well together now. We've never, I was trying to think about it. Someone asked me the other day, like, what's your biggest argument? You know, what's the biggest disagreement? But we genuinely have never fallen out, I think, because he's logical and reasoning, and then I've got fact, and realistically those make sense when you do converse. I think
sometimes the best partnerships are when you both know your place and you both know your role, and it's not necessarily conflicting. Yeah. It's like we both know what our skill sets are and what we're supposed to do here. Yeah. And you just sort of fly in that partnership.
Yeah, that's true.
For those that are listening that want to understand the tech and what you do and how you bring it to life, tell us about DCYPHER and give us like a little snapshot of what DCYPHER is.
So I guess from the offset, as you see the brand now, we make complexion products. We are an AI generative beauty brand. So we basically have scanning technology and matching making technology. So two very different things. We've got technology and patent technology where we scan your face and we'll get a unique read on your skin tone, your opacity, your undertone, your hue, and we'll create then a code that is yours. That code then gets passed to our scan and make technology, which then creates a kind of formula, if you like, that is bespoke for you and one step for you, that then gets made, and it gets made in a certain way that is obviously IP and patented as well. So we've got two sides really of that technology. But for the customer, realistically, we're solving the biggest pain point that you would ever have had. Like if you have been shopping in the beauty industry for the last however long, I'm sure you will never probably have landed on your absolute perfect shade made for you. You might have blended something to get there or made something, but I don't believe, and we don't believe that you should have to do that. We believe that realistically, like in this day and age, realistically, isn't it a bit archaic that we actually, if you think about it, you create a beauty brand or you buy products before you even know what your customer really wants. You're projecting it on a number that somebody's saying is the right number to guess. Or you may have some facts and stats that say that lip gloss is the best #1 seller in Space NK, so let's, go with that shade. Yeah. But realistically, you're taking a punt. Everyone is guessing and gambling on MOQs and guessing on what you should buy.
Hoping it fits somebody right.
And hoping it does. And realistically, it will, don't get me wrong, but 70% of the time. So the stats say that 30% of all beauty products in the UK right now go into the bin every year. So that's a lot, it's a lot of waste. It's a lot of unnecessary waste for the planet. I mean, I can wax lyrical about all those things, but I think inherently it's about you as a customer. I want you to have your perfect product with me.
And particularly when it comes to skin tone and stuff, it's something that I've always struggled with. They've always been too warm for me, or too ashy, or too dark, or not dark enough. Like I always, at minimum, will buy 2 foundation shades and mix together. Like there's no kind of, any counter, if I was going into a beauty hall, I don't feel like I would be able to buy 1 shade.
But also the light, right? The other thing, the lighting in these retail, like love retailers, love them, but you can walk in and honestly, I feel really bad for like the MUAs, because they kind of get a bad rep. You walk out and then, that MUA, it's really not their fault because they're standing at you under a light and trying to match you versus those lights. And so they are technically doing their job. They're not bad at what they're doing. They're just trying to work with what they've got in front of them, right?
Yes.
So I think that's the difference with our technology is actually taking, I could do it in pitch black. It's not that, it's the actual reader of what we're doing on your skin that is actually giving me all that information and all that data. Like your opacity and everything. So we understand that. And also you may have 3 or 4 different skin tones across your face, right? You might be lighter on your forehead, darker on your neck, all those things. So we can accommodate that. We can, do that. We scan where you want. You can tell me where you want to match. If you want to match your arm, I can match your arm. If you want, so it's up to you.
So
I think it's good, and that's not where we started. I think, to be honest as well, transparently, we didn't start there. I started in a world of, let's actually give everyone the perfect match. To us, the perfect match was when we've done your read, that is your perfect match. Right. But you may think that's pale for you. Personal preference can overrule that,
there's also
right?
that, yeah.
So I think on D2C, that was really hard for us to do because, we hadn't at that point, we weren't able to kind of like, you choose warmer, you go cooler, et cetera, et cetera. Now we can. And the evolution, obviously, of retail, that makes it obviously a perfect partnership for us going to retail.
So let's talk about when you launch. The USP that you have at launch is just something incredible. Like you say, initially you were inventing the tech that you would give to beauty brands to be able to use to bring this to life. So you actually say, hang on a minute, we can use this tech to build a brand that is completely different to what's on the market. Because sometimes when you're doing something new, it can be a blessing and a curse. Because if you're almost first to market with what it is you're doing, it's like, is the world ready for it? And are they excited about it? Or do they not quite understand? So how was it received?
All of those things.
Everything.
Everything.
A bit of everything.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think it is a bit of everything. I think this for me, I always focused on the solution. Like I thought to myself, it's the solution. Like this is going to solve all the problems. But actually I have to become obsessed about the problem because the problem is different from person to person as well. And actually what I think is really easy to understand is not for other people. So you wear makeup every day, right? You could say you're a beauty aficionado, right? I'm sure you're in everything and skin, all those things. So if I said to you, what finish do you want? You'd probably say, actually, do you know what?
Dewy,
I love a dewy, radiant finish. But, not everybody does. Not everybody does actually know. They want to be told. They want someone to tell them. So there's lots of nuances that. So I guess we launched with this incredible USP and it took us a while to really land that message. And I guess that's where we are now. And even what we've just done, we're just launching new formulas now. And I think that's the biggest learn. When we launched, we thought the USP was enough. In full transparency.
Yes.
So I thought the USP is enough. The formula doesn't have to be supercharged, like super skinified kind of formula. It can be a good formula and it's a good formula. It's done us really proud and done well. But mainly the customer's pain point is the shade is amazing, but the formula isn't what I expect now in the world.
Right.
And so that's what we've had to do. So we've had to really upgrade and skinify those formulas, which is great. We needed to do it anyway, I guess, and
the world moves so fast in terms of that. 1 minute everyone wants to be matte, the next minute they want to be dewy, the next minute it's like skin tints are only what's in. It kind of is really the next minute it's back to full coverage. It kind of it moves like that, doesn't it? There's really cycles in skin and those finishes. I've really noticed that I've always wanted skin to look like skin, but when I look at the evolution of how my makeup's been over the years, like it does really change, doesn't it? So how do you go from, like you say, sometimes the USP isn't enough and it's only great if everyone knows about it. So what was your approach to hammering home that message and sort of really educating people about what it is that you do? Because it's a really new proposition.
Yeah, I think if I'm being really honest, I don't think we've absolutely nailed it even to this day. So I think there's still so many unanswered questions for people that it is a constant evolution every day. So I think when because for me, it's like we're creating a whole new category. People think we're a new beauty brand, but actually I don't see it as that. I see us as actually a whole new category, an ideal North Star for me, my manifestation is that we are almost like the Meta of beauty, the Google of beauty, right? If you're picking up a Rochelle product, it's been powered by DCYPHER technology. We've created that product behind. That is the goal. So people think I'm crackpot, but that is definitely, for me, why would we not go big? We've got all this technology that can be there. So I think there's almost these kind of like, we approached it very basically by launching online to give people a simple step. It's like, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and try to explain it. We tried visual aids, we tried, consultation aids. We've gone through loads of different variations of it. I think we've landed like 85% of the way there, but I still think there's something new that's coming in a month. That will just add, I think, this extra kind of try-on consideration. So right now it's a bit of a varied thing, but I think you will get the moment to really get a full holistic choice of, do you want help? Do you not want help? Do you want scanning? Do you not want scanning? Like it's kind of fully personalised for you.
And how do you feel like you can communicate the message best? Do you feel like, obviously, because of the tech, is online a huge focus, or does retail pull a lot of that in?
I think retail is important, obviously, because we're also trying to cater for those women who don't want to go into retail. Like, a lot of women do not feel comfortable to go up to a makeup counter and don't want it, or time poor, or don't have the time, all the things that we've all, assumed or things have happened to us. So I think those pinpoints are there. But for me, retail is this next big thing. I think it came to us when we did some pop-ups, last year through the summer. We did like a kind of trailer around the country and went out to people, and actually people can see the product being made. It's not just the match. It is incredible. I mean, it's not my brand. I'm not, in a non-egotistical way, as a beauty lover, actually standing in front and getting my foundation 30ml bottle made in a minute and a half is like,
that's my dream.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that is
so like,
impressive.
and that's why I say it's Adam really from that side. But I think it is an iconic moment, and theatrical. And I think, retail is coming back around. There was this world where it was all D2C, everyone was D2C heavy. I think retail does really play a part when customers want to touch and feel again. I think, that post kind of COVID lipstick effect is circling back around again in my mind, So we all want to be out there touching things, doing things maybe a little bit differently. But I think that's it for me. But retail is it. And I think, our personal choice, there's lots of retailers out there. But I think for me, I needed space, decent space that gives you counters. Me rocking up when there's thousands of people touching the machine is almost like my idea of hell.
I can
It's more about actually the considered purchase, the considered consumer who's got a bit more dwell time, or who wants to do the full thing, kind of do like that whole kind of analysis with us, has got 5-10 minutes, not a minute to spare.
Yes.
And so that's kind of, why the next thing was retail. And we just did actually like a pre-tease with John Lewis we're launching. It was incredible. So like, there's like 800 people, the queues at the machine, and it was really incredible. It's like the pinch me moment.
I bet. And John Lewis do beauty so well. Yeah. I'd really enjoy a little browse. Like, if I've got time, like you say, if you're not time poor and you like that browse moment, they're really good beauty halls, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a bit of everything, haven't they? And I think, they've got all that, and they've got space to breathe.
Yes.
And that's a bit of me. Like, like I said, Chloe, she loves going into Sephora and jumping in all this, chaos. And don't get me wrong, I would shop in Sephora if I know what I want and I'm running in and out and I need something, or space, or all those places. But when you want a bit of TLC and a bit of, I suppose, support, education, all those things, then someone like John Lewis, for me, is a perfect partner. And the loyalty that they have, from their consumer. And that's the biggest thing. I think the biggest strength that we have is retention. So for us, once you match with us and you love us, like the data shows, you don't leave us. You just buy more into the other products that we have.
Which is the best
so
kind of data.
Exactly. So we've got a huge replen and like returning customer and LTV, which is amazing. It's amazing for us to have that kind of opportunity, I guess.
What are the practicalities like when it comes to having such an innovative idea? Because the idea of tech always terrifies me, because I feel like I can't be trusted, and it could go wrong. I mean, listen, me and tech, that's not my best friend. How problematic at times has the tech been behind the scenes?
A big problem. Yeah. I can't lie. Like, definitely a big problem. More problem for Adam, but then also I'm his problem because I'm in his ear. Like, when's that machine gonna be
When's it ready?
I think, that what I would say, it's a problem. It's like they say, don't they? Don't work with children or with animals. And
Yes.
I definitely have learned, don't think that tech is easy to work with either. But I think once you get it right, and when you're in that space of, actually the mistakes have happened and you've learned everything possible now, then it's pretty easy going. Then you can make it look pretty and do all the kind of things. But it has been painful. But the biggest thing is the investment, right? So
I bet, yeah.
I think that's the one thing that I probably didn't realize at the time, when we're starting, was I thought, oh my God, all this cash I'm going to have freed up because I'm not buying MOQs of tens and tens of thousands of stuff. And we've got ingredients, but it's super cheap and we can kind of like get all that going. I didn't really think about the tech aspects and all of that, even like back end engineering and the developing and the coding is expensive resource. And we're doing something, like, I don't want to, come across as all this, but we are really doing something different to what everybody has tried and failed. So like, that is a big deal. I think about that a lot. There's a lot of big brands who have tried to do what we are doing and have failed. So sometimes I do wake up in the night
really
going,
brave idea.
This was not a good idea. So, that we don't have all of the resource and the cash that they did either, so we've had to.
And tech's one of those things, right, that you could tell me something cost £20 or 20 million pounds, and I'd be like, right, okay, because I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's, and obviously you've got Adam, and that's his strong suit.
That's his
right?
strong suit. I think if I didn't have him, I mean, I could tell someone, but it would cost me even more millions, right? Like, Adam will be sitting, with like a welding machine trying to get things at, like, engineering as well as kind of all the other kind of algorithmic behavior that he is so strong in. But I think you've just got to I have to embrace it. And I like tell him, I want, like, he'll like laugh at me, I'll sit there and I'll be like, what's best for the customer is they can see all of this formula coming down out of the machine. It's going to spin, Adam. It's going to spin, and it's going to, like, all this yellow red is going to become that. It's going to be theatrical. Do what you can. It's going to go along.
Just gone back to the cruise.
And he's like, and he's like, okay, I'll come back. But to be fair to him, the machine now that we have a conveyor belt that's going to, so in John Lewis, when we launch in 2 weeks, you'll see it. Like, you literally come up to the machine, the bottle kind of drops in, it goes along this little conveyor belt, your little pigments drop in everything,
That's
your skincare,
exactly what I want to see as a
That
customer.
is what I wanted.
Yes.
So I'm like, he does deliver.
Yeah.
So,
and also, this is the kind of importance of the balance of having the two of you involved, because they're the ideas that he might not have developed in that way.
No.
Right? So it's the creativity and that.
He's not aesthetically, he says, oh, that's you. That's not, that's it. Like, let's
but
not.
that's what makes
but
those
it does
relationships
work,
a dream
and the speed and everything that he does. But it is a big cost. But now we're over that hurdle to a degree.
Yes,
so I think
course.
all this, so we're not self-funded. We have got investors. I obviously watch you, and I see that you've got lots of people, and everyone's got their opinions on self-funded
Everyone's
versus
got a different
funding.
story, yeah.
But I think my biggest thing that keeps me awake at night right now is that we need to be fast, because I know that there's people who are trying to do what we are doing, and your moment will be gone, right? So, so I don't have the luxury of taking 10 years to get me to where I want to be, because realistically, there will be somebody popping up very, very shortly, and tech moves so quickly.
Yes.
So we took the investment to help us, get and grow
Supercharged.
really supercharged. And so that is what we're doing. But mum, wife, doing all these things, it's a lot, to try and go and push forward and do all that kind of, but you have to, but if you believe in it, which I do, I just think it would be amazing to break through eventually and get all of.
And everybody's strategy and everybody's, like, sort of road to the end game of, trying to reach that North Star, as we all are, looks completely different. Like you say, the idea of doing this big tech business meets beauty business, self-funded, would be a really terrifying risk, right?
Or you move to America. The only other thing is, like, I always think, I meet American investors are like, oh, if you were here, like, we'd give you 20 million. I'm like, oh my God, maybe we could move to LA. It's all right.
Quite like Malibu.
But, like, I think in UK that, the investment is a bit more tough on the tech side, to be fair, and certainly female founded tech.
That, like, we know.
That is tough, to get across. But I have to be honest, my current, investors are super supportive of everything we do. So I can't, complain.
And it's working incredibly well together. And I think that's one thing that we often talk about on this show, is that, a partnership and investors and, that kind of landscape, it really is like a marriage. So as long as you feel like you're in the marriage with the right people, I think that is what the most important thing is. You touched on earlier about obviously nailing the tech and the foundation was, a great foundation, but you actually realised that actually we should be offering different options of foundations and different finishes. So your new foundation collection doesn't only personalise the colour, customers can now choose matte, natural, radiant formulas. How long did it take to create the new collection?
About 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah, about 18 months on the formula. So I think 18 months on the formula. What we do, like I said to you earlier, we do take like consumer data really seriously. I know a lot of people say that, but I'm talking, I have focus groups that come in every week and try in the product and are, testing it and trying it for us and giving us feedback. We've got MUA experts, we've got everyday consumer giving us that feedback all of the time, because I think we can personalize and do what you need. So we do it by finish, but we also do coverage. So if you want a matte full coverage or you want a matte sheer coverage, we can do all of those things. So it's on your coverage, and then you also tell us what skin type you are, or we can ascertain with you what your skin type is, and then we'll inject like skincare ingredients in there that would give you. So if you say you're super dry, we'll have more hyaluronic in there maybe that will give you that. So it's kind of cultivated in that way, So I think Adam always says the easiest thing we could have done was do personalised skincare here, right? He says you do realise that we wouldn't have the shade problems and the challenges that we have with colour. I was like, yeah, but that wasn't the biggest problem.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
It's all part of the story.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, but I think personalising something extremely like in that way is good. But it does take a while. It has taken us time, but we do take the insights from the customers very seriously, and I guess that's where it was quite disappointing, I suppose, for me, that we were starting to see that our formula was a bit aged at this point.
Right, okay.
It was kind of aged. We'd been working with it realistically for 5 years behind the scenes, like do it. And so really it was, it was slightly outdated. And so we had to, update it, and it was the right thing to do. But why not use all that information from the customers and from some expert MUA friends and who would tell us everything and give us
you've got the ability to move like that because of the tech that you've created, which is
like
incredible.
We can create things really quickly. I guess that's the thing, So we've got I think I can say it. We're going into lip category, so personalised lips, which is you can choose your shade and then your tone, on your lip, and then also the opacity. Maybe you want a full coverage because you don't like seeing your lip, or maybe you want a sheer, or maybe you want a gloss or a balm, so you can do all those kind of things in the same way and that kind of same technology. But that realistically, in reality, that's only been a 6-month project. Where most brands, if they're trying to launch a lipstick, it would be
my word,
a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I think I've got the most incredible chemists in house. So I'm very fortunate like that, because obviously the contract manufacturer has all of these people. We need the same thing, right? So we are producing everything in Cheshire. We do everything in house. So we buy the raw materials, ingredients. I've got some chemists and formulators who make products, 24/7. Maybe not 24/7, 8 hours a day.
I would love nothing more than to hang out with you at work. This is like my dream.
Oh, and everybody, to be fair, you should 100%, but I would love to make you a product. So I think that's the thing. The dream for me would be for you to tell me what new launch do you want to make for your own range, right?
Oh my gosh.
And we could make you something, and I bet you we can make it better than the Italians or better than the French. Yeah, so I think we can do all of that.
And hang out in Cheshire.
Yeah, for sure.
Next time I'm up north, that is it. You're getting a knock on the door.
I think you can do what, you can make everything. You can make a lipstick, you can make, all that kind of thing. And I think I'd love to do it. I keep saying this to the team and they look at me like I've got 10 heads. I'm like, I would love to do a competition out there to the world, to the UK, that someone can make their own lipstick with us. Like, I think that would be cool. If I was in the community.
Gosh, can we do it on Ladies Who Launch? That would be so much fun. Not right now. Not right now in a second, but
Yes, so it's almost so like actually fun. You could make it. Yeah, so we could run a competition or whatever you want to do, with the community where they can come and make. I don't know, we could get 10 winners. Yeah. They come and make the lipstick and then we make them for sale and they could get profit off it.
No, this is the best idea. We have to do this. We have to do this.
You were in my team. My team are like, oh, you're crazy.
Let's let the teams talk. No, that is amazing because we should always focus on this, right? For startups, for businesses that girls and ladies that we speak to on this show, and we do these live events and we have so many questions and messages constantly. The MOQs of these kind of big manufacturers, it just blows everybody out of the water. When you're starting up and you're self-funded and it's kind of, it's really hard. So to be able to not have the kind of
that's the thing. Like we could literally, if I'm a red lipstick wearer normally, which is not the top selling colour, you know, the nudes and the pinks are the ones that everyone goes for. But like, I can do that. I can launch a bright orange red. And if I only sell 100, it's fine because I make it one at a time. That's the difference. So I think that's the thing. I think, you know, and also think about the indifference of what you can do. You know, you might go to a factory and create a product or make a, you know, a contract manufacturer, but that formula is probably based around 5 other formulas. There's some benchmark, whatever. But you can actually, we can really just get in the lab and make what you want. You tell me you want like this, that, and the other. So I think it's that.
You should never have told me this, just so you know.
But I want to do it. My team are all like, oh my God, you're great. But I just think I would have liked the opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
And now I see other, you know, there's people who I mentor and, you know, other founders and other CEO wannabes that, you know, want help and stuff. And I try to help them. And I think that's the other thing. I think to myself, how could you just do something that gives a little bit back, right? I'm having the time of my life here. Like, I'm loving every day.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's stressful. Of course it is. But I absolutely adore what I do. And adore my team.
But nothing great isn't stressful when you love and you care about it in the way that you do, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to have that level of stress because it means so much.
Yeah.
If you wasn't stressed, you know, it's because...
But imagine those makeup artists like who, you know, they don't have the funds to make a product, but actually they know exactly what would make a killer product.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we should be. Yeah,
and they're the ones that are spending the time with the palettes and they're crafting the perfect shade. And then you try to do the combo on yourself, but you can't because they've used 5 different liners and 6 different lipsticks. You know. Yeah. There's definitely there's something big in this. Let's talk after this. This is very exciting. I want to talk about. Because it's been a full-on few years, right? To say the least, to bring this to market, to get the investment, to get the tech, to get everything in the way that you want it and the message out there. And as you said, that continues to grow. It's a lot on a founder, on a co-founder. What do you do? Because you said before that you wake up at night and you're like, oh my gosh, what do you do for yourself to switch off? When life is a million miles an hour, what do you do for you? And it's a question that we need to ask ourselves more.
Here? Yeah, I think I do need to ask myself that more. I think a family, right? So I guess the thing for me is family, trying to always have my family time because that definitely makes me not grounded because it's not that I'm grounded, but you know, they give me like comfort, I guess, in through those stressing moments or challenging moments. It's nice to just be around those that you love and your friends, etc. But I think I really am right now. It is difficult to have time off. I've got to be honest. Like I'm not really spending much time 7 days a week in free time mode, right?
Yes.
So I think it is very hard. But when I do, I just try to switch off. I literally try to put my phone out of the way. You know, laptops out of reach or whatever, or it could be a cinema. It's a simple thing. You know, it's not anything crazy right now. Just give my brain
just stepping away from it. And like you said, it's not always. It's rarely that a founder can take time off in that way. I took my first ever month off this year, and it terrified me. I mean, I was like,
but were you switched off? Were you? Or?
It then resulted into, I said to the team, right, let's do a. I was in America and I was always wanted to take the kids to Disney, and I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it, we went to some World Cup games. It was lovely, and it was no spa or no beach holiday, so I was quite tired when I got back. But mentally, it was really, really restful because I was walking around Disney and I didn't have time to think about anything else, is the actual truth. I was at 2 weeks prior to it, I started to get really stressed about the fact that I was being off and like, is this going to be okay? And then what happened in the end is we said, okay, let's have a phone call every day at 10. And it could be like for my time, America time, which was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I could just yes or no stuff. And it could be a 5-minute call or a half an hour call. But then after that, unless like the world's falling down, we'll speak at 10 the next day.
That's a good. Yeah,
and
that's
do you know what? And just having
good.
that's me off. You know, that's me switched off.
Yeah, that's good though.
And that was amazing. And I've never done anything like that. And I think it also shows the place that our team has come such a long way and everyone knows where we need to be. And I think it's real credit to the team that actually that I didn't need to worry, and it was for the first time ever. And
it's awful, isn't it? Because you feel like you're not really, well, for me anyway, I feel like, I'm not really trusting them enough. It's not that. It's genuinely not that. You know, I think
it takes time to feel comfortable.
It's just that kind of like letting go of it. And also for me, Adam and I have been really doing it ourselves. You know, the first year it was like everything. You know, I was retail, I was cleaner, I was producer, I was packer, I was, you know, all of those things. And even now, if someone posted yesterday, amazing person, posted about us yesterday, and all of a sudden it's like ching 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 ching, you know. And then now I feel like I'm not here, you know, I'm not with them helping them pack, and I know they've got it. I know they can deal with thousands of orders,
but it's hard to switch when you've been so in the weeds of everything.
And also it's quite enjoyable, you know. Like I know
those
it sounds like whatever, those moments of like, you know, doing, you know, 100 grand in a day. It's like, whoa,
it's incredible.
God, let's do it, you know, like do it and let's go crazy.
Yeah.
So it is like enjoyable as well. But yeah, I think you just got to learn to trust them. But are your family like, do they support, do they understand and get it then that you're
100%.
working so much?
I think it's 100% more than, but I think it's something that happens to me where I think I want to be present in all of this, but there's always this cloud above me, and it's a nice cloud of work, which I love, but I find it really hard to put down. So I'd sort of really prepped. I had this holiday booked for 2 years, and I was like, right, okay, I know I'm away for a long time, and I was sort of working up to being off. But it's a really hard thing to do, which sounds silly because.
But you're also at an incredible time as well. Like launching something new, is super exciting as well, right? Like whether it's a launch, whether it's a brand,
you could bottle
it's your
that
baby,
feeling,
and it is amazing because it's all coming together now. You know, obviously I've been watching,
and I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoy
it's hard to switch off to it, isn't it? And
but I wanted to be present because I knew it was like a once in a lifetime holiday for us all.
Yeah,
you know, like
for sure.
England, the World Cup being, and you know, in America, us doing Disney. I knew it was a once in a lifetime. We were with friends that were really special to us, so I was like, okay, I'm going to be present for life stuff as much as I am for work. Yeah, and that was kind of the deal that I had.
I definitely need to take a moment of it. I think you're right. I think it's, you know, you do, I think 2.5 years of like non-stop, no holidays, no, you know, at some point you do have to think, right, okay, I can take the time off. Like I hired someone recently and she's like, not my EA, but you know, I'm not in that privileged position to that, but you know, she's business ops, you know, and help and support. She's like, my mission is to let you have a week off.
See?
Yeah, you know, I'm like, yes, and Kate, go girl.
How
do we do it?
This is amazing. But you will, and like, she will help
we
you.
We will do it. And I was like, what about next week? She's like, oh, John Lewis launcher. What the week? There's always something.
But it's my mission.
But yeah.
She's got till December.
Yeah, she's got to the end of the year, to prove. So yeah, I think that'll be good when we get there.
I want to do our rocket round now. And essentially we ask all of our guests the same 8 questions. And it's supposed to be quick fire. It never ends up being quick fire when we've got 2 women that love to talk, which is you and I. The first one is, what do you believe are the non-negotiables for running a business?
I think passion is my only, I think primarily you've got to undoubtedly and unequivocally be passionate about what it is that you're doing that is not cash related or end goal related. It's literally just in what you're doing, that problem that you're talking about, that you're trying to solve, or, you know, the product that you really believe is that. I think it's that. I think don't be so, you know, on the end goal moment at that point. It's really just about it's in that way. And then I think compassion. So I think for sure in that with your, you know, understanding. So passion, compassion for me are important in the brand. But I also think structure and kind of process, as boring as it sounds, now, you know, make it all come good when you're trying to scale at a rapid pace. So I think those are non-negotiables.
Yeah, you're right. Really. Because sometimes we focus on the end goal, or, you know, like the finances, or, you know, it can be for the wrong reasons. You have to be passionate about what this is you're doing and where you are now. Yeah. You can't just sort of cheat it and be like, I'm passionate for the end.
I met a fan once. I didn't work with them, but I sat down with them. I was going to work with them, and I was like, you know, I always ask them questions like, what do you want? And I was like, what's your passion? And they were like, to have the yacht in the whatever, in the
exit.
And I'm like, okay, the exit straight away. I was like, that's a little bit before you've even, you know.
Very presumptuous.
I'm not sure if they're on the yacht yet, but, you know, so that, I always think, actually, there's got to be some emotive reason that's way more monetary.
Of course, that keeps you there.
It is important.
Keeps that fire burning, that keeps that, because we always say the days are so long, and without that, like, flame that you can't put out about what it is you're doing, it's, you know, the yacht's a lovely idea, but that's
doesn't really get you there.
Exactly
in the end.
that. Exactly that. What moment did you first realise that you truly launched?
God, I think that's really recent. You know, I think that as much as we've been doing it for, I think the John Lewis event that we just did, those first 2 days, like, there is nothing like. Honestly, I would get emotional now. I seeing like hundreds of people queuing for your brand, when they could be going to all these massive brands that they know and love and they've tried and tested, but they want to get matched. Like, that was just like, I thought, oh my God, this is this is going to be good.
Yeah,
and this is going to be great.
And seeing that like physical representation of who, particularly if you've like focused on online or it's looked in that vein, seeing those people and understanding. I have it when we do the live shows for this podcast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the listeners, like, and it's like everyone's here, and you're spending your money to be here, and that is always a moment for me where I'm like,
they've really gone out of the way.
Yes,
really you can just see the emotion, and I think it's that, you know, I think matching someone that's never been matched, there's something in that as well. Like when they say to me, you know, I had Judy Love recently come and she got matched. She was like, you're never going to match me. She said, I just can't find it anywhere. And then we matched and she's like, oh, you know, can you imagine what she's like?
Oh, and she's the best.
So she was, and I was like, oh my God. And she was like, you have no idea how like life-changing that is for me.
Particularly,
and I'm like,
when you're of a diverse background and you've struggled your whole life to find a match. Like that is like the problem solving that's happening here is like is emotional as well as that kind of like the vanity piece. It's an emotional thing to be able to give that to people is incredible.
So I think in real life is great, isn't it?
Yes,
when you do things with customers and
human
community.
Contact is the best. It is the best. What is the first thing you do when you wake up and the last thing you do before you go to bed?
Cup of tea in the morning, just to be really boring, but a cup of Yorkshire. I have to definitely have a strong tea in the morning. I guess I do always think, what am I always, my first thought, I guess, is what am I doing today? What do I need to achieve? So it's almost like I try to give myself 2 or 3 things that I know I'm going to do today, because it is a whirlwind. And if I've learned to do that, because if I don't, it can be a whirlwind forever. And then I think at night, I try to put notes in my phone to get them out.
Get them out of the brain.
Before I mean, I still wake up at 3 like, what
do you know,
that?
I now leave a notepad and a pen next to my bed.
I did do that, I did,
because I feel like I need to get it out, but my phone isn't good for me because then I'm up.
My husband, that's what he said. He's like, why do you do it on your phone? You've gone away for it. And I'm like, oh.
I know.
But it's just easier. But then I know to get it, because then I forget the notepad, and then that's my problem. So, first world problems, but I forget my notepad, But I think it is. I think there's something about getting something out of your head that's worrying you, or the list, or something that you haven't solved in that day. It could, some days it's like 20 things, right? I'm not going to lie. Other days it can be 1 or 2 things.
And giving yourself the beat for the next day. Like, okay, this wasn't completed today, but tomorrow this is how that's going to look. What is one piece of advice that you wish you hadn't listened to? Oh my God,
I literally said this to my team yesterday.
Go on.
I wish that I hadn't listened to them when they said that cream cushion foundation wasn't going to be a thing 2.5 years ago. So 2.5 years ago, you could see I meant it. I was like, really? Yesterday I was like, guys, the glow boot, like we created the skin tint, and they were like, not sure, doesn't it take away from the foundation? I'm like, no, because there's tint people, there's foundation, and glow boot is now number 2 seller, and it's amazing, and it's wonderful. But 2.5 years ago, I said we should do a cushion foundation made like at this point, like tier we're just kind of, and like now I'm seeing all these brands do it, and now I'm not a follower, so I'm not gonna. That's not in my DNA. It's like, oh, they're doing it, so I'm gonna do it. Like that's not in me. But I wish that I had not listened to that advice from the table. Been in that, I was like, oh, we could have been like killing it now with a personalised cushion.
But they're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are some good ones. I mean, Amy's is great, and there are some good ones. I just saw the YSL one. I haven't tried that yet, but
no, I'm
sure it will be good.
Oh yeah, I expect big things from that. I bought one from a Korean brand. I can't remember which brand it was, but the colour wasn't quite right, but the texture was insane.
But that's the other thing. You see, the thing is, all these cushion compact, they're even more limited in shade range, right? So for DCYPHER, it would have been like a perfect. Like,
oh, don't! I'm getting annoyed for you. Let's stop this now. What is a skill that you'd love to learn?
I probably have learned more of something than I know, because I think where I've gone like multifaceted and done things, I feel like I've done it. But I definitely think I would like to learn more about colour theory. So I do know about it, obviously, because I'm around it and with it. But Adam is definitely that expert, in that field with it. And we have chats about it. But I wish, I definitely love to learn more. And hopefully I will get to do that, through this lip concept, because obviously through lips it's way more colour theory
of
to understand
course.
exactly how you're blending, you know, like who knew you put green in nudes to make it this and do this, and I'm learning all this stuff, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, that is so interesting.
With the chemist. But yeah, I think that I'd love to learn more about that. It's not that I want to be an artist, a makeup artist or anything, but I think I would love to, it's just interesting, right? What complements that colour to get that exactly in that way.
Yeah, and it's real part of the DNA of your brand too. Yeah, makes perfect sense. What's one thing that you wish someone had told you before you started out?
I think probably I wish that I'd understood the tech complexity to a degree. So I was on this like, oh my God, we found this amazing thing we can do. It's going to solve all this problem. And the tech, but I think the tech was restrictive in the beginning, right?
Yes,
so I think if I'd known and understood that, I could have maybe navigated better through it. I've made lots of mistakes. So, you know, where I've thought, oh, we can do this and we can just run for it and go for it. But the tech does end up holding you up until you're at that point. It doesn't now. Like I said, it's amazing.
No, but at the start, it must limit you to a degree.
I kind of wish Adam had been more, not that he wasn't honest, nobody totally was, but I think maybe given more of the downside of it, where he's obviously a believer as well in what we're doing. It's amazing. But I think the challenge and the nuance of all of this and the investment that we would need, right? Because
almost like managing your expectations a bit. Yeah.
And that was a whole, like, there was a whole learning curve for me. AI was not in my thing, you know, it was not in my DNA but now, I mean, I don't know how much you evolve it in the business, but it's everywhere for me now.
I mean, who would have thought it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of, and if you, like, you couldn't call the way that this was going to move. Well, like, you know, for me, I'm not in tech, right? A few years ago, I wouldn't believe that I'd be using a tool as much as I do now, which is, it's so interesting. What or who, I suppose, would be the dream collab for DCYPHER?
Oh, that's hard. I love everyone that we collab with, so it's really hard.
Or what about how we're seeing these kind of brand on brand?
A brand for me. Yeah, I think more than it would be a brand. I guess for me, a dream collab would be a skincare brand. So that for me right now, it would be definitely a skincare brand, because I think that's not our expertise. You know, we're more in colour. And I think working with a really great skincare brand to make the best ever personalised skin tint or best ever moisturiser together, I think something like that would be the kind of dream.
Do you know what would be amazing? Like an incredible bespoke tinted SPF.
Yeah.
Because I think they do these tinted SPFs and I'm always like, oh, they're either really warm or really, really, you know, cool. They're not ever quite right. But if you could like personalise an SPF.
So there is a way to do that. I have looked at that. So there is a way to do it. It's just, it's quite complex and complicated. So you don't break the SPF, but we could try.
Anyone can, you can. Yeah. And lastly, if you could choose one female figure as a mentor, past or present, who would that be?
I think, am I allowed to say Charlotte still? Because I think realistically speaking, I think, like, you know, for me, she is the icon for me. She always has been, really, over the last decade. So I think, you know, it's not that I would, you know, it's more of a mentorship, friendship now than it would have been, you know, than it would have been years ago. But I think she's still got it. She's still got the ideas. She's still got the creativity. She still brings it to the forefront. There's, I think, so for her, that mentorship, you know, is a lot. Was a lot and is great and would be great to carry on.
Absolutely. Have her on speed dial at all times.
Yeah. I don't think she'd like that.
What would Charlotte do? Yeah. I'm really going to use this. Each episode I ask our guests to leave a tip, almost like one piece of tangible advice to a listener, to a lady that's looking to launch right now, who's like, oh my gosh, I love the idea, perhaps, you know, that wants to sort of look at going down a route in the way that you have. Perhaps that's mixing tech with beauty, or however that looks. What would like one piece of advice that you've sort of learned from your journey so far be to a lady looking to launch?
I think I've said it earlier. I think to me, the biggest thing is to focus on, like, be obsessed with the problem, not the first solution that you think of.
Right.
Because if that makes sense. Because I think for me, you know, I knew what the problem was in the colour matching, but if I actually had been I was obsessed a little bit with the first solution, and then that slowed us down a little bit, because actually there will be iterations of the solution that will get better the more obsessed you become with the problem. So if you really understand the problem, so I thought the problem was just colour match. It's actually not. You know, it's colour match, it's texture, it's sensorial feel, it's finish, it's cover. So there's multiple facets of that I didn't think about at that moment. I just thought, oh my God, we've got the most amazing.
Yes, so it's like keep picking
I think
apart
the problem.
the problem.
They're always having that kind of true problem, regardless. It doesn't matter now with lips, it's a different problem, right? Lips is a different problem to that. So, you know, every category. So the idea for us is we'll be across all of the categories in the next 2 years, and there will be a problem in each of those nuanced kind of parts of category of colour that will have a problem. And so I have become obsessed with that rather than the first solution.
You're right, because you're going to always have to tweak the solution consistently, particularly like, if you know, when you're taking on customer feedback and what people now want and focus groups and everything else in between. It is just the problem. And if you focus on the problem heavily, you'll always get to the solution in the end. Yeah.
In the end, I think that's the thing. It can take a little while to get there, but I think
thinking you've got it.
Yeah. And we do think you've got it at first, and then actually it's a second iteration or a third or 13th iteration of what is now the real. It's like the new formula now with a foundation. Realistically, if I'd thought about the problem first, I would have also thought about really we need to deep dive on that formula. So.
And lastly, my last question I like to ask every guest, because I am nosy, and we talk about ladies who launch, but when it comes to being a lady who lunches, us founders don't get much time for this. So it's normally like at a desk or wherever we can grab it. But we can do this one of two ways. If you're going to take the team out for a treat meal as a celebration, what would be your favourite meal? Where would you be going? What would we be eating? Or if I was going to be your assistant for the day and I was going to just order your lunch and I know that you're going to eat and you're going to love it, what would you eat at your desk?
I think team, both similar iterations, but I think sushi. Sorry, we're a bit of a, you know, kind of personalise your sushi in the way that you want. So
it's all personalised.
To like everything. You have to choose. You know, you can choose what you want. You just have to have a set menu.
Yeah. What's your sushi of choice? What's your favourite?
So I'm pretty basic in the sushi sticks. I do kind of just like a nigiri or
salmon nigiri.
Yeah, salmon nigiri. So I do like a tuna kind of nigiri sometimes. So pretty simple and basic. I like a good poke bowl.
Nice.
Poke bowl there,
really good.
In the world, bit of a sauce.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing too. And also, it's it's kind of easy to eat and talk together, isn't it?
Yes,
it's not
you're
too
so right. Yeah, then you're not going to create a big mess.
If you're chatting, we chat a lot, you know. It's like, don't want to just eat it quickly.
Soup.
No, yeah, exactly.
There you go. Thank you so much. It's been so great to talk to you. That hour has gone incredibly quick. Congratulations to everything that you've built already and what you're continuing to build. It's so wonderful to watch the growth, and it feels on the outside super quick. I'm not sure how it feels for you, but the success is just incredible.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love that. Don't forget to follow us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcast to make sure that you don't miss out, because next time I'm going to be talking to another incredible lady who launched. If, like me, you're a watcher, then please follow us on YouTube and don't forget to like and subscribe.